Good morning. But I'll do another video because a lot of people have come to me um, with a question of what ascent actually is and how to do it. Because there's a lot of confusion about this topic of ascent, which is the ultimate goal of magic, or should be the ultimate goal of magic. There's a lot of fuckery out there, a lot of bullshit, obviously, and yeah, and a lot of confusion. And this video is meant to help those who actually want to ascend, who want to take this serious, but don't know how to do it, or are kind of confused by all of the information that is out there on that topic. Okay, so this video is going to be titled War as the Father of All Things, Realism and Objectivity, and Perception of the Gods. See, in ancient Rome, there was this saying in Latin. It was "Polemos pater paton," which means war is the father of all things. And you can often see that when you meet conflict, which is obviously one of the traits that is very prevalent here on the physical plane. When you meet conflict, you feel tension, right? Tension, and you have two choices to react to that tension. You can either back down and let the opposition reign, or you can do the other choice. You can make the other choice, which is becoming stronger, adapting to that pressure, and overcoming that. And conflict is actually one of the most it's one of the most fruitful things you can imagine, you know, in subtle ways as well as in very crude ways. And see, the battlefield, you know, the battlefield will always show the truth, you know, or a ring, or, you know, the octagon in certain sports. It always shows the truth, or the boxing ring, or whatever. You know, all the talk is done, all the fuckery, all the, you know, and all the delusion goes away, because in that moment of conflict, in that moment when you actually have to face the opponent, the truth will be made obvious. Okay? And this principle applied to magic means that you have to, first of all, anchor your magic here. You have to prove that your stuff works. What you conjured up has to have an effect in the physical world. And if it has an effect, you have proven that what you do has an effect, and it is actually, you can take it serious. If it doesn't, you still have to work. So you have to work on yourself. Okay? And the battlefield, you know, it always requires that you match up what you created in your mind and what you've gotten out of the spirit realm with the physical world. So you will have to master the art of deduction, you know, which is the process of using general principles and applying them to individual cases. Okay. Mao Zedong, the Chinese statesman or dictator, or however you want to call him, he talked about this point of objectivity that is completely outside of human perception, of course. The point of objectivity would be the point that we all should strive for. Okay, and the closer a human being will get to that point of complete objectivity, the more powerful that human being will become. It's a point. It's a place of complete objectivity and complete realism. You know, realism and objectivity. What do I mean by that? You have to constantly match up what you're doing with the real world, which is the definition of strategy. Okay, you can. Fantasy is limitless. Fantasy is something that rarely has any limits, and the same goes for the potential of delusion, especially in magic. You know, a field or an art where fantasy and reality are so closely come in contact. You'll have to put the potential for a lot of delusion, and I'd say 90 or more than 90% of the magicians that I come in contact with, that I meet, are completely delusional. There's hardly any reality to what they do. It's mindfuckery. It's very, very prevalent. And if you want to become a real magician, if you want to be someone who avoids that mistake and is constantly growing, constantly improving their skills, and constantly becoming a more ascended being, you have to match up the real world and the realities of this world with what you conjured up in your mind, so to speak. You know, see, the spirits or the gods or whatever, they will teach you in terms of principles, because that's how they perceive the world. You know, they perceive, physicists would say they perceive it at a very, very low level of entropy. They have a higher perspective, obviously, outside of space and time. See, if you invoke one of those gods, demons, angels, whatever you choose to work with, and you let them possess you and let them override your consciousness and perception for a bit, you will perceive the world as they do, and they perceive it in terms of the physical world. They perceive it in terms of big energetic mess, very high entropy. But within this energetic mess, they will see small islands of order. What is this island of order? That could be a circle cast. Okay, when you do lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and then have cast a circle, they will perceive that as an island of order, so to speak. The same goes for an aura of a person that has actually defined edges and a defined, basically a well-developed aura. They will perceive that as an island of order, and that's why entities from the other planes are actually attracted to that. And the same goes for what they transfer into your consciousness. Obviously, see, if you have things occurring in front of you. Okay, at first you will just see it, observe, and over time you will notice patterns. Okay, and from that pattern, you will be able to discern rules and principles. Okay? Well, the spirits do it the other way around. They teach you the principles first, the rules first. That's what they will tell you. And it's your job then to match up that principle with reality and apply it to real circumstances. Okay? And that's how you ascend. See, ascent isn't, isn't about escaping from the physical world. It's not about taking drugs so you don't perceive the mess you're in anymore. Okay, it's not about deluding yourself. It's not about lying to yourself. It's not about mind fuckery. Ascent is about matching up what you learn from what you've got from these spirits, and match it up with the physical world. Affect the physical world, and know through for a fact that you've understood what those spirits have told you. Okay, there's a reason why we're here, and we have to use the physical plane in the way that it's intended to be used. Okay? I think I said everything else I wanted to say, and I hope that's helpful. And yeah, okay, that's about it. And till next time.